Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA fighters on Saturday, December 7th with Violence Fight League 2 at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Fights are scheduled throughout the night, and if you haven't been before, now is the perfect time to go, with Nebraska football in between the regular season and a bowl game. Doors open at 6 p.m. with the first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CRF-R Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CRF Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CRF 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I am your host, Emma Spence, and I am super excited about my special guest tonight. His name is Greg Stewart. He is a Canadian Paralympian in the shot put, 2-time Olympic gold medalist in 2020, 2024. He is an empowerment coach, motivational speaker, overall just an amazing person. Probably the most famous person, well, definitely is the most famous person that I've had on this show before. So that's super exciting. Just super excited to have Greg on here tonight. Super excited. He reached out a couple weeks ago asking to be on. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be perfect. So welcome, Greg. Super excited to have you on tonight.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is super exciting. So do you think you can give a little bit of a background on kind of yourself, your hometown, your life, kind of how you got to where you are? Definitely a super accomplished person. So
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. For those that are listening, tuning in, one thing you can't see is I'm a little bit taller than Emma, just a bit.
A lot.
I'm a 7'2" man, so quite tall compared to anybody. And I was born missing my left arm below the elbow. So that's a quick physical. If you're looking at me, that's what you're seeing. And I like to use that to my advantage as a motivational speaker and whatnot. I find that I'm a person that can walk into a room and own it without even the need to open my mouth or anything like that. So a quick background. Who is Greg Stewart? I am a 2-time Paralympian and 2-time Paralympic champion in the sport of shot put. My job is to pick things up and put them down. And when I put them down, as far away as possible. I throw a 6-kilo shot put, which is about 13.5 pounds. And I currently hold the Paralympic record at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic Games of 1675. That is meters, around 55 feet. But that is kind of my shot put background. I'm also a volleyball and basketball player.
Really?
I actually play, yeah. So I've actually played more volleyball than I have shot put.
Really?
I am
Did
a
you just go to the Olympics for that, or like were you ever trying to do that?
yeah. So
Okay.
I've actually played 12 years, approximately 12 years on our national disabled volleyball team, both standing and seated. I'm a three-time world champion, one-time World Cup champion in volleyball. And I played about 7 years of standing disabled volleyball, so arm ants, leg ants with prosthetics. And when I was on that team, we were in pursuit of the Paralympic Games, but never made it because the sport itself was dying out because seated volleyball was taking its place. For those that don't know what seated volleyball is, it's literally volleyball sitting on the ground. The net is about 4 feet off the ground. So basically, if you were to think of a normal volleyball game, the bottom of the net is maybe like a foot below that.
Okay.
So I did that for another, probably another 5 or 6 years. And then amongst all of that, I was also a university basketball player on the able-bodied side. So I played basketball for Thompson Rivers University up in Kamloops, British Columbia, Canada. I played 5 years because in CIS or U Sport, you're given 5 years. Is NCAA 5 years now?
It's usually it's 4 years, and then you can get an extra year for like a COVID year. I guess we're almost out of those, and like red shirt, like if you get injured or anything like that. But usually on average, it's about 4.
Right. So in U Sport, CIS, it's a 5-year program because that's what they kind of expect you to take in terms of school, about 5 years to get it completed. You could redshirt, so play 6 years if you wanted. So I was a CIS. I keep saying CIS U Sport because when I played, it was called CIS, whereas now it's called U Sport. And I finished off my last 2 years. I was Canada West Defensive Player of the Year. And then my last year, I was the top defensive player in the country, all with one arm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's like a little bit about my background in sport.
So
yeah.
if you did all these other sports, how did you get into shot put? And then how did you get all the way to the Paralympics in shot put if that wasn't like the main thing you really did growing up?
Right. Well,
Crazy.
so when you and I were chatting, you're like, how we're going to look at it today, kind of the structure of it. I didn't find shot put till I was 30 years old. I'm 38 now. And I didn't find it because I was too busy trying to be someone that I wasn't.
Okay.
So being born with one arm, my parents had a choice or a decision on how they were going to raise me. And so they chose to raise me the same as my older brother. Thing is, my older brother doesn't have a disability.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I was raised that way, I was raised that way, yet I didn't quite feel like this. It didn't feel right because like I was being treated the same, yet I was different, right? I have one arm. Like I can't do everything the same way. And so for majority of my career, my basketball and volleyball, I was doing it because people were telling me, hey, you're tall, you're somewhat athletic, try it out, see what happens. And so I did, but I was doing it in hopes that I would feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I was actually 25 years old where I, stopped and was like, I need help. This is not me. I'm not feeling fulfilled. I'm really struggling with all of this. And I actually identified as a disabled person. I wasn't in a place of, trying to prove to people my value. And so when I was 25, I started this journey of like mindfulness and understanding of who I was. And yeah, when I turned 30 around that time, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Okay. So I'm going off tangent. I'm having a tangent here. Okay.
That's okay.
I went off. I did an interview yesterday. We were talking a lot about mental health, and I'm a firm believer of how you reflect upon yourself is reflected upon other people. So if you're a pretty happy, loving, outgoing person, you're going to see a lot of like joy and happiness around you. If you live a chaotic life, it's probably because you're a chaotic person,
Yeah, that's fair.
right? If you're, if you're out partying all the time, you're out doing this, you're out, making, dodgy calls, that kind of stuff, you're going to see that outside of you. And where I'm going with this is I just happened to randomly be at a Christmas party. Okay. It was a work Christmas party. It was in a hotel, and I went to the bathroom. I was going to the bathroom, and I walked by these people, and one of the guys was in a wheelchair with a Team Canada shirt on. And I'm like, oh, from my experiences in the past with Team Canada, I'm like, I bet you he's part of a team of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So on my way back from the washroom, I stop, we get chatting. I'm like, are you an athlete or something? He turned out he's a coach. And that's where my journey in shot put started. He was like, dude, you'd be really good at this. You'd be really good at that. You ever thought about that? And then in my mind, I'm hearing, oh, I've heard that before. Hey, you'd be good at basketball. Hey, you'd be good at volleyball. Are you going to be good enough?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I have. Yeah, we'll exchange numbers and then see what happened. Well, like 2 months later, they reach out and they're like, are you still interested? Do you want to come try it out? And that's where, I went out to Montreal, Quebec, had a little like ID camp, had a little chat. The next thing I know, I'm like, yeah, this shot put thing's really working out. So this random, I'm feeling good about myself. I'm treating myself better. All of a sudden, this random thing happens. This like loving thing happens. And I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. But then to add to it further, so I am looking at throwing a shot put. I'm in Kamloops. And for anyone that knows, there's a gentleman by the name of Dylan Armstrong. He is a Canadian thrower in shot put. And they've literally built a program around him in Kamloops.
That's cool.
Right? Like literally there's equipment, there's rooms, there is like support specifically built for shot put. And I live in the same town. Like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
Right? So all of a sudden you start to change your dialogue in your head. You start to like create things. All of a sudden things start happening. Good things. And that's exactly what happened. So I started, Dylan was now a coach. And that's kind of what got me in the journey of, getting to the Paralympics.
That's awesome. And then how was the experience? Because, okay, let's give some background context. I met Greg at the Athletes Can Summit in 2023. That was it was over a year ago now. And at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you were saying how you were like considering retiring, because I don't remember you saying you were 100% sure you were going for the Paris Olympics at that point. But
So I was retired.
Okay, that's what I thought. I remember, because then all of a sudden I saw like a year later that you literally won another medal at the Olympics or Paralympics, and I was just like, wait, I thought he was retired. So that was crazy.
Yeah. So the long story, when I was competing for Canada in volleyball, the goal was always to go to the Paralympics, but we never got there. We never had the chance in standing. And then when we went to seeded, we were, we're the low team on the totem pole. Like we had a lot of work to do in order to try and make it to the Paralympics, and we just never made it. And then when I kind of stepped away from basketball, stepped away from volleyball, and just kind of worked on myself, and then shot put presented itself, I was like, there's a real opportunity in me going, and it's all on me. It's not a team effort anymore. It's strictly what I put in. I know you know what I'm talking about, right? If we want to succeed, we're the only ones that can do it. Yes, there's support, there's IST, there's the people around us to ensure we have good health going through it, but we're the only people that can get us there. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, let's try this out. And so working with Dylan, I remember Dylan's first kind of words when we started to work together was, hey, if you want to be here, awesome. I'll do my best to coach you. But if you don't want to be here, don't show up. Okay. I was like, well, fair enough. I'm sure you've heard that before too. Yeah. So, I just showed up, and slowly got better. the end of my first year of like consistent training, I think I was number 1 in the world for my classification.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was pretty decent.
Pretty
So
cool.
yeah, no, thank you. It was really cool. And so we trained hard, and then in my first international competition was at Worlds in 2019 in Dubai, and I got second. And it was the first time in my classification that 2 of the competitors threw over 16 meters.
Oh, wow.
Josh, the world record holder, he threw 1680 and I threw 1630. And so like we were developing our sport. And then we all know what happened in 2020.
Yep.
The cancellation of the Olympics, the Paralympics, and then rescinding of the cancellation to postponing it for a year.
Yeah.
Were you, like you were training for Tokyo, were you not?
Yep.
How did you feel when initially it was canceled?
It was tough. I mean, that year in itself, the beginning of 2020 was probably the best start of a season that I've ever had. And I felt pretty good going into the Olympic year, going into trials and everything. And it was tough when everything was just put on hold and then it was canceled and then it was postponed, because for a while it was canceled and they weren't even sure if they were going to postpone it. So going through all of that, all of the ups and downs were definitely mentally challenging, and then figuring out how to train and stay active and all of that during the lockdown without having a training facility, all on top of it, was crazy.
Totally. Doing balance beam in the living room, just not the same.
Oh, we had one. We
Did
literally,
you?
yes, we actually did. The coaches, or like dropped off or like made us go pick up some equipment from the gym. And we literally put it in the living room. So I literally had like a floor beam in the living room. It was so sketchy and it was so scary because like there were the couches, the tables, like the ceiling wasn't high enough, doing it on a hardwood floor. But no, that's
Wow.
literally what we had to do.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm just thinking about that, like, trying to get your balance with a coffee table next to you, be like, whoa.
Yeah, no, we even like took like the mattress off our bed, put it on the floor, and we're like flipping on our mattress. Like it was so sketchy.
Whoa. Man, the lengths we went through in order to make things happen, eh?
Yeah.
So yeah, same kind of thing. Because we weren't allowed indoors anymore. We were lucky enough that Kamloops still had outdoor throw centers. There's a place up on Bunker Hill. There's like 4 throwing circles, so we could continue to throw. So lucked out for that. And then 2021, in our case, August, the Olympics would have been in July, but the Paralympics started in August. The whole, oh man, it was tough. Like getting announced to the team was amazing, but getting there was like so hard. Of course, the journey and everything like that, but like literal Japan's ruling was the planes couldn't be more than 40% capacity.
Oh, like you were talking about the travel even.
Yeah, like literally the travel getting there was near impossible. So there was a ruling that you had to kind of like sit in the middle of the like 5 seats or 4 seats. 2 rows in front of you, 2 rows behind you, and then like 2 seats on either side of you. If somebody in that bubble had COVID, you automatically had a quarantine.
That's crazy.
Right. It was great.
That's stressful too. Like you're already going to compete at the highest, like biggest competition ever. And then you have to worry about COVID at the same time. That's
Excuse me. Yeah. So anyways, we get there and the game plan is let's go and compete. My goal the entire time was I've never been to the Paralympics and I wanted to go. I wanted to experience them. And that's exactly what I did with COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
We couldn't do anything, couldn't go anywhere. Everything was mask on 24/7. The only time you took it off is when you're basically in your room by yourself.
Yeah.
But the day before I competed, I had lost my mind. Best way to say it. I was so mentally exhausted, physically strained. Everything about me, I was just like, I can't do this. I'm not good enough to be here. Like all of those things. So at the Paralympics, because we're para athletes, you don't have the same amount of competition. Like there could be hundreds and thousands of you competing, whereas on the Paralympic side, there could be like hundreds, right? And so at the Tokyo Paralympic Games, only the top 8 showed up. And in shot put, when you compete, so if there's more than 8, when you're competing, your first 3 throws are measured. And then when it goes to the 4th throw, they reorder.
Oh, okay.
So if you throw far and you're the furthest throw in those first 3, they reorder so that you now throw last.
Interesting.
And so then like the least furthest throw then throws first on their 4th. So basically just reordering. So the day before, I'm just like completely psyching myself out. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Yeah, I wanted to come and just compete in the games, but now the pressure's here. I can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to compete. But, and I'm sure you have this too, we're lucky enough to have support teams.
Yes.
So we have a sports psychologist, counselors, friends, family, everything like that to talk to. Ours is Penny Worthner. She's worth every cent. That's
nice.
My fun of the day. Yeah.
That was a good one.
There we go. Okay, good. And she was awesome. And she did a phenomenal job of really kind of helping me through it, allowing me to see everything, just really like the mental health piece of just being like, hey, dude, you're good enough. You can make this work. Like go out there and do your best.
That's awesome.
So then when I woke up on September 1st, which was August 31st back home, I was like, party on. Let's do this. So my very first throw, I threw second. Yeah, I threw second. And my first throw, I threw 16.75, which was the Paralympic record right off the hop.
Amazing.
And then, yeah, I won my first Paralympic gold medal. So it was a pretty incredible experience. Like I said, going in to just compete and then walking out with a medal was a gold medal.
Yeah.
It was a huge, huge feat. But honestly, I owe it to the fact of like, I feel good with who I am. I love myself. I love the energy that I can bring to myself, but I also love the energy that I can create outside of me. And, good things happened. And I'm not saying that everyone is going to be a gold medal winner. But what I am saying is that if you create like a lot of love and exciting times and whatnot, winning or losing wouldn't matter because you're still enjoying who you are.
Yeah.
I'm just lucky enough to have a gold medal at that time.
Yeah, that's a really cool story. And I love how, the ups and the downs, and you're able to talk about that whole process and how that works. We are going to head to our first break, and we'll continue the conversation afterwards.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop.
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol. You really think so? No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $395 per month, lease with 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to assigning, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See delivery details.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I'm your host, Emma Spence, and I'm here with my special guest, Greg Stewart. He just went into some details about his athletic career and just a lot of the things that he's gone through to get to where he is now, and all of the successes that he's had, which super inspiring, super just amazing to hear about. One thing I was wanting to bring up with you is, so when I was looking you up before, and I also know this from just like knowing you, but you do like empowerment coach stuff and motivational speaking stuff now, right?
Correct.
So how did you get into that? And like how do you do that now?
Yeah, so I got into it honestly kind of after winning the first gold medal in Tokyo. People just gravitate towards gold. And I guess what I mean by that is just like we're gravitating towards, winning and whatnot because we feel like there's typically a story behind it. And there is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it'd be really important to share my story, but also to encourage people to know that finishing first isn't the best goal.
Mm-hmm. Because you've learned so much throughout that journey.
Absolutely. And I think the journey is not to win.
Mm-hmm.
The journey is to feel. The journey is to, accept love, is to move through discomfort, create a space of vulnerability and growth so that we can feel who we are as human beings. And when I shared earlier about, turning 25 and recognizing that I was disabled was like the first time that I'd ever felt in my life a sense of purpose or even like a value to myself. Like, I'm Greg Stewart, I'm tall, I have one arm, there's incredible things available to me that I wouldn't have known had I not been able to express myself and see myself for who I was.
Yeah.
And I think that's what, honestly, majority of us in the world are trying to find. What brings us love? What brings us joy?
I like that. I'm kind of at that point now where I graduate in May and I'm trying to figure out like, who am I and what am I outside of the gym, because I will be retiring in a couple months as well. And it's like having to figure out like, what can I do? Who am I? What do I bring? So like trying to navigate all that is a lot.
It's terrifying.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
It's scary. And, I can understand that because I've done that too. When I finished playing university basketball, my identity was attached to basketball. And when I left, I didn't know who the hell it was.
Yeah.
Right? Because, forever I was saying, oh, yeah, no, I'm a student first, athlete second. Oh, that's be real. We know what's going on, right? And so, yeah, I basically I invested in myself. Not in a conceited way, not in a selfish way, in the sense of I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to make changes.
Yeah.
And so I started to make those changes. I went in and got help, right? So I've been seeing my counselor now for like 10 years. I go to my counselor when I don't have problems because the purpose of my counselor is to learn and to understand and learn tools and techniques so that when things become challenging, I have those resources available to me.
Yeah.
I did group therapy. I did like a 6-month personal empowerment training where I literally sat in a group of 7 and we all expressed our feelings. And ironically enough, throughout that process, I learned that I'm not the only person feeling this way, even though our scenario is different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're a gymnast. I'm a shot putter. Those are 2 very different sports. But I will guarantee you and I have very similar emotional reactions to how we feel when it comes to competitions, when it comes to interacting with other people, when it comes to just like rest and relaxation. I will guarantee you that we have very similar experiences.
Yeah, and now that you say that, I remember when I met you last year and we had like a couple of conversations and we really connected on, I guess, like the mental health side of things. And I was going through some things with like coaches and just like gymnastics environment stuff that you gave me really good advice and just insights on. And it's like, I didn't really have to explain very much because you already kind of understood what it was like to be going through that. And that was really cool.
Well, I appreciate that. But our body tells us what's going on. Our mind makes up the story. Right? Like when I used to play university basketball, I used to get really sick before games. Right? I don't know if you know anybody that's like that, or if you yourself get like that.
Yep.
And forever I couldn't figure out, like, why do I get sick? Well, one of our reactions in our body when we feel guilty is we feel sick to our stomach. Right? And so I learned that I used to get really sick before games because I was feeling guilty the fact that I didn't think I was good enough.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't trust in the processes. I couldn't, I felt like, hey, I've been doing this for the wrong reason. I don't feel fulfillment. Like I'm putting myself through this, yet I don't enjoy it. All this like guilt.
Mm-hmm.
So then, of course, when it comes to competitions, I'm like, oh man, I don't feel good because I can't trust the system. I can't trust the work that I've put in. I'm feeling guilty for not being able to trust it.
Wow. That's
right.
deep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's deep. And I'm not going to lie to you. I still get that every once in a while
Yeah.
when I go
know
play
exactly
men's league
what you
pickup.
mean, yeah.
Right.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean. I've just never heard it put that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Right. Like I literally am getting it when I play men's league basketball right now.
Okay.
But it's changed. It's not feeling guilty. It's because I've been doing an individual sport for so long now that I need to learn to trust the other guys.
Yeah.
Right. So I get a little fearful.
Yeah.
So, so where I'm going with this is like you and I are feeling sick before our games, but we can't actually identify why.
Yeah.
So our brain is making up a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yet our body is telling us, hey, you're feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Let go of it. You don't have to be guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And so we hear about this whole like body-mind connection piece.
Yeah.
The body-mind connection is, hey, the body feels guilty. The mind is saying, hey, you are feeling guilty. You don't have to feel guilty. You can trust in this process. You've done the work. Go out there and have fun. And then when you're able to make that connection, you just all of a sudden have this like profound experience because you don't have this guilt energy that is taking away from you. And now you have this love energy of, hey, I want to go in and play. I want to jump on this balance beam in the middle of the living room, or I'm going to go, dunk on this guy, or it's just, I'm really going to enjoy this process.
Yeah.
Right. Just imagine how strong or how connected of an athlete you could be if you had the space to compete without the worry, without the fear, without the guilt, any of the anger, nothing. Imagine how much further you could take your sport if you felt clear mind, clear body.
That would be so helpful.
Right?
Yeah, that would just be the dream.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
I would love it
exactly
too.
It would be great, but yeah, it's what you're saying. Like right before you go. And like even I can like tell myself like, no, I've been putting in the work. I deserve to be here, but it's really hard to make that connection so that your body feels because I get like really shaky. Like I get super anxious and my body's just like shaking. But then like mentally I can be telling myself like you're good, you've prepared, like all this stuff, but it just doesn't sync 100%. Like I'm always feel like my body and my brain are thinking different things before even like
Totally.
going
Well,
up
then
into it.
anxiety is a control piece, just the fact that you can't control the future.
That's true. Yep.
Right? So it's just like, I want it to look really good, but I can't make it good until I do it. So it's
Mhm.
like the inability to trust the future actions.
Yeah.
Because one, you can't control it. You just do it.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
So,
And then and then learning to accept that whatever happens happens and you can't change it after it's happened.
absolutely. So we had a brief conversation here the other day at the Team Canada celebration, and
Oh yeah.
athletes. Yeah.
Sorry. I
Yeah.
remember I saw the pictures of that. You guys were with like Justin Trudeau and all the other Olympic athletes. That looked so cool.
Yeah. It was really, really cool. But one of the conversations we had was around athletes and perfectionism.
Uh-huh. Yep. I could
Always
see
trying, always trying to achieve perfection.
that. Mm-hmm.
But I always say, you already are perfect. Because the choices, the thoughts, the decisions, the challenges, the experiences that you've had in your life to this point have gotten you here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the only way I could say it's not perfect is if I judge you or you judge yourself. And then
Yeah.
what you're doing is just comparing yourself to other people. So
Yeah.
what's to say you're not already in a place of perfection? But now you just want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to grow is to step into vulnerability, experience something new, make a mistake, fail, create that discomfort, understand it, learn it, forgive it, move through it, move forward. It's not like all you got to do is this. It is. That's all you got to do. It's a lot of work.
Yes.
But it also creates the most loving experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, being able to do that would just I mean, I try. Sometimes it works better than others. It's easier to do that when you're doing well in a meet, but once it starts going downhill, it's hard to fix that. I am being told that we are heading into our next break. So, we'll be back in a couple minutes. You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Greg Stewart.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I'm your host, Emma Spence, and my special guest tonight is Greg Stewart. He's been sharing some really valuable insight about mental health, mindset for athletes going into big events, big competitions, or even just going through everyday life. I think, the things that he's been sharing have been super helpful, and I'm really glad to have had you on tonight. Is there any like go-to quotes or sayings or anything that you kind of go back to when you are struggling or before like a big game or competition or anything like that?
Yeah, so like I'm not a very religious person, but I've heard this term multiple times, but it's let go, let God.
Okay.
And it's just kind of to me, it's just a way to kind of let go of whatever I'm feeling or whatever I kind of have going on in my life. And I'm not letting go of it as an never going to touch it again. But it's a way to just be like, hey, this doesn't serve me right now. I'm going to come back to you later. And so like the let God part is more like a conversation of, I'm just going to put this over here. God, you take care of it. I'm going to come back and readdress it and figure it out and move through it.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of my main ones. And the other one is learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
I like
Because
that.
without vulnerability, there is no success.
Yeah, that's good. I really like that.
So if you want to change the experiences that you're having in your life, you need to learn to be vulnerable. And what that vulnerability looks like is when things become really challenging, you don't react. Meaning, if your partner says something to you or something's going on at work and you want to lash out or you want to run away and cry or you want to do this or that, it's stopping and literally starting with a deep breath and then learning to respond to it in a way that, yes, it'll be uncomfortable, but it's a way to start to see yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
Learn and take insight to you, and then start to create great things around you. Because the best relationships that we can have with ourselves and other people are through difficult conversations or difficult experiences.
Yeah. And being open and honest about that and willing to take in the information that it's kind of going back and forth. I think that definitely helps.
Absolutely. And on top of it, just have fun.
Yes.
Right? Like, I know I go into deep conversations, but I also like to tell wicked puns. I like to laugh. I like to enjoy myself. And I like to spread and share love because love is the best thing ever.
Do you have any like go-to jokes or puns
Oh,
that you'd like to share?
I don't actually. Yeah, I'm not a joke teller. I'm more
No.
of a in the moment teller. Like
Yeah.
penny, worth every
Yeah,
cent.
that was really good.
Oh,
If you don't have any, don't worry. I don't
I'm
want to
trying to
put
think
you
of
on
a shot put joke.
Okay.
Shot putters usually don't accept presents because they end up just throwing it away anyways.
Okay. That's good. Kind of
It was
getting into the
lame.
Christmas theme too. No,
Yeah,
I like it.
that was you can like it. I thought it was lame.
I mean, I think it was
Do you have
good. It
any?
went with the theme.
Do you have any balance meme jokes or gymnast jokes?
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever been told a gymnastics kind of theme joke.
Right. Yeah, my shot put one I looked up the other day. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you guys are based in Nebraska.
Yes, I'm currently, I go to the University of Nebraska.
Wow,
And
last year.
yes, it
Are you
is.
excited?
I am. Our season starts in less than a month now, and then I'll have a couple months of competing, and then I'm graduating and retiring gymnastics. So heading into a lot of new things after that.
Well, what's your goal this year?
Honestly, kind of like you mentioned, just to have fun. I really want to be able to just take in every opportunity, every moment, enjoy it because I mean, looking back, that's probably the things that I'm going to remember the most, especially of like the season itself, spending time with my teammates. Yeah, and just taking in, embracing the whole experience overall. That's like my main focus. Like obviously I have gymnastics specific like performance goals, but overall I think what's more important for me to focus on is just the overall experience of it.
Mhm. When I came out of retirement and competed in Paris, like I wasn't planning on winning another gold medal. Like that's a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a lot of pressure.
yeah, but when I went in and competed on that day, I had more fun than I've ever had in a competition period.
That's amazing.
Because
Did
I
you
was
get
like
any
shaking
medals?
hands with my competitors. I was like high fiving the volunteers. Like I was like in it
Yeah, yeah,
because
that's
that's what
awesome.
mattered to me.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about, just go out there and enjoy it.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
got
I think
nothing to
that's
lose.
yeah. And, like, honestly, like, looking back on, like, I don't know, certain competitions or events, like, that's usually what I remember, like, how I felt. Like, did I feel happy? Did I feel sad? Like, how did the experience make me feel? I don't remember as much, like, the little details. So, I think that
Absolutely.
would be a good
Well, and
way.
yeah, and remember, like you're enough. You're loved. You are love. Go out there and be it. Accept it. Be vulnerable with it, and create incredible things. Well, only here once, so might as well enjoy it.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I think that's so important, and yeah, and then I'm gonna figure out what to do and where to go from there, but I think right now just kinda staying where my feet are, staying present, and taking it, like, one day at a time, enjoying all the experiences like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Love
what
it.
about you? You're retired now for sure, or
Nope.
is it
Nope.
possible a
No, not
2028 comeback?
no, not retired.
Not
Definitely not
retired.
retired.
Wow.
No, the plan is to stick with it. 38. I would compete in LA when I would be 42. I got married shortly after Paris as well.
I did see that.
So, yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. So, the goal is to honestly focus on health, mental
Mhm.
health, individual health as an older person, but also just keep spreading the word of, of your worthiness, right? And that you are perfect ish.
Yeah.
um, yeah, keep giving talks to people and let people know that, you know, your, uh, your health matters and all that stuff. And then also keep selling my book.
You have a book?
I do.
Oh
I
my
got a
goodness, I
book
need to get it.
on Amazon. It's called
Okay.
Stand Out: The True Story of Paralympic Gold Medalist Greg Stewart. It's a children's book.
Oh, wait,
So,
I think I saw you posted that on Instagram.
yeah.
Wait, I might
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to get that though.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, it's like it's a picture book, so I didn't draw it, don't worry. It would have been stick figures, but like it's got
That's awesome.
everything. It's got me playing basketball.
There you go. Yeah, that's super cool. I love how you're able to go from everything you've gone through and just take that and, like, use it as a way to help other people around you too. I think that's just so amazing because your story is so powerful and the things that you've experienced are so incredible. And then just you as a person too, and being able to express that and be vulnerable with other people kind of inspires and motivates other people to do the same. And that's so special.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Love it. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
super cool. I'm gonna have to have you back on here at some point because I feel like there's just so many other things that you could share. So much, yeah, just like words of wisdom, how to compete, how to perform, how to take care of yourself. Just so
Well,
many different things.
check me out on Instagram, Greg R. Stewart, Mindful Mondays. I got to post a Mindful Monday for tomorrow. But yeah, feel free to check out this journey, my journey, Emma's journey. So many incredible things going on. There's so many incredible people out. And the fact that you want to have this conversation, just top notch, just the best. So, yeah, greatly appreciate you taking the time here. I don't know how to end a radio show host, so I'm just gonna keep talking.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a great way to end it overall. I mean, everything that you've said throughout this podcast has been great. I'm just so grateful that you were on here tonight. Thank you so much for joining.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Emma, and I wish you all the very best in your last year of school. Happy retirement.
Thank you. All right, that is a wrap You are listening to Beyond the Routine with Emma Spence and Greg Stewart.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month.